Hey everyone, Board Game Brody here again. I have a copy of Kebab, the board game on a stick by Family Tree Games. This is an open drafting pattern building game of making your kebab to match what the guests want so that you can score the most points. So here is how it goes. You start with an empty kebab stick. All the food items are in the bag, and they will randomly be coming out. You also start with a special guest card that shows 3 items, and whenever during the game you have those 3 items in a row somewhere on your stick, then you'll be able to complete that card. Flip it over and you take a new one, and then you can hopefully complete that one as well. Now, you can only complete 2 of these special guests total in the entire game, so keep it in your strategy, but you can't just depend on only it. If you play a 2 or 3 player game, you will have 2 sticks to use, and you can choose which one you want to stick your ingredient on to complete your goals. But there is also a limit of 10 ingredients per stick. And now, while in a 4, 5, or 6 player game, you will place all of your ingredients on the one stick. The game is played over 5 rounds, and you will reveal 2 new guest cards face up on the table for everyone to see. Then you will pull out a certain amount of ingredients. In a 2 to 3 player game, you will pull out 4 times the number of players in the game plus 1. And then at the beginning of each round, you will be doing that. In a 4, 5, or 6 player game, you'll pull out 2 times the number of players plus 1 of ingredients. When pulling the ingredients out of the bag, the first 2 will be placed out on the grill token. All the other remaining will be placed in a pile next to that grill. The first player then chooses one of the ingredients on the grill to be placed on the choice of the 2 guest cards placed face up. These cards are the ways to score points in the game according to the requirement shown that is now connected with that ingredient that was added on top of that card. These cards can be points for having an even or odd amount of ingredients shown, points for having no ingredients of a certain type, points for every pair of the shown ingredients somewhere on your stick, 2 points for a certain ingredient on the ends of your kebab stick, points for ingredients in a row, for having 3 total of that certain ingredient, no more, no less, points for having ingredients that don't touch, points for having the most of a certain ingredient, or points for having ingredients in the middle. All different type of things that you're going to be doing. Each round, a new guest card will come out, so by the end of the game, this will be 5 total different goals that can also have a different ingredient applied to each of those every time you play the game. After the new guest card is chosen with an ingredient and it's placed on it, it will then slide down to its own little row, and the other card is not chosen, it's discarded. Again, there will be 5 of these by the end of the game. Then, starting with the first player, players take 1 ingredient either from the grill or from the pile next to it. If a player takes the ingredient from the grill, then they take the grill token and become the first player for the next round. As you go in player order, the last player will choose their second ingredient and go in reverse order. So this is a snake draft. When you get to the first or last player, they take 2 and it goes back the other way. In a 2 or 3 player game, you will snake it multiple times back and forth, taking a total of 4 ingredients. In a 4, 5, or 6 player game, this is a forward and then backward draft where you will get 2 ingredients. Remember, when taking your ingredients, you can place it on either side of your skewer. The round ends when the first player adds their last ingredient to their skewer, and then you will progress from there. A new round begins with 2 new guest cards coming out, new ingredients out of the bag. First player gets to choose which ingredient to place on the guest card of their choice, and then players continue drawing ingredients in that snake draft to add to their kebab. After 5 rounds, you will score points for completed guest cards. Any special guest card completed is 5 points each, with a maximum of 2 of those. Then everyone scores the 5 guest cards that players have chosen throughout the game. Then the player with the most points wins the game. And that's Kebab, the board game on a stick. It's a fun, hands-on pattern building game that kids and adults can play and both enjoy. It's simple and it's a straight to the point type game. I like how you have a starting goal to begin with the game. At least you know something you want to do. And then each round you have something more to add. So the game continues while revealing more and more goals. This also makes taking that last ingredient off the grill so much more important because you will be deciding the next goal, which might not matter as much at the beginning of the game because you have time to work toward completing those or getting points towards those. But later in the game, you can choose your scoring card from what your options are compared to, what you already have on your stick and score what you've already done. Each game can be different because you will have different guest cards, plus players will be choosing different ingredients to place on those cards, and you will have different things go on. So the games are very different from game to game. Components are excellent. It provides a fun, hands-on game where you are actually placing your ingredient onto your stick, and the components look good and they play the part well in this game. So you need to choose the best ingredients while you make your kebabs in Kebab, the board game on a stick by Family Tree Games. Again, this is Brody here with Let's Table It. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to bring to you videos like this one so you know if these games here are ones that you want to get to your table.